And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Of course, every single day there seems to be a shenanigan that goes on courtesy of Keir Starmer and this Labour government, and today is no different, as when you see this news, you'll be super frustrated. In fact, you've probably seen it coming anyway. As always, guys, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and follow my Instagram if you haven't already. It's DanPWD. Let's get into it. So here you go. First things first. A second migrant or illegal migrant crosses back into Britain despite Labour deporting him to France. Remember the genius idea that came our way, courtesy of the Labour government, of this groundbreaking one in, one out deal with France. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we said that one of the individuals that was deported, guess what? He crossed back over. Now, a second one has crossed back over, as if they thought this was going to work anyway. We have no border, ladies and gentlemen. I think the number was 1,500 over since Thursday have crossed over into the United Kingdom on small boat. So if an individual was to get deported back to France, the individual was going to be like, oh, well, I was just the unlucky one. Let me cross back over again. And that's what we're starting to see now. As you can see, today was, this individual that crossed back over was one of almost 400 migrants that entered Britain earlier today. 400 of these individuals. Bearing in mind, 400, they all cost £40,000 each per year, courtesy of the taxpayer. As you can see, another legal migrant removed under the France returns deal has crossed back into the UK. GB News discovered that the migrant arrived back in the UK waters on a small boat on Remembrance Sunday. He was one of almost 400 small boat migrants picked up in the Channel by Border Force and taken to Dover Harbour. The news is another major blow for the government's flagship one in, one out scheme with France. A Home Office spokesperson said anyone looking to return to the UK after being removed under the UK-France agreement is wasting their time and money. This individual was detected by biometrics and detained immediately. His case will be expedited and he will be returned to France as quickly as possible. The message is clear. If you try to return to the UK, you'll be sent back. And again, it will happen again and again and again because there is no border at this moment in time. In fact, the Labour government are actually giving incentives for more of these individuals to cross. As you can see, migrants are set to be paid £3,000 of your money to start a business in their home countries. Yes, the Shadow Home Secretary branded the handouts morally... Oh, so this was Chris Philp. He said that this is a disaster. However, Shabana Mahmood is conjuring up a plan of course, to pay migrants who drop their asylum claims could be paid £3,000 in tax. Cash to start businesses in their homelands. Ministers are said to be mulling over a series of Home Office proposals to move migrants out of hotels and, in some cases, the country. The first, the £3,000 option, would see the sums dished out to migrants from countries with low asylum acceptance rates. Asylum seekers from Albania, Bangladesh, Brazil, China, India, Nigeria, and Pakistan would be those in the spotlight. Sorry, what's happening in all of these countries, by the way? They would be eligible for £3,000 handouts through government voluntary return scheme to help them find somewhere to live, find a job or start a business back home. The other cash option reportedly being considered is a £100 per week allowance for migrants to leave the hotels. That fee would be paid on top of their existing £49.18 weekly handout. Officials are said to be proposing they would then use that money to pay to live with a family or a person they know. No, that just seems like an incentive to me. So if an individual can get over the Channel for £1,000, oh, they get a 3x return on their money by just making the journey over and saying, okay, well, let's start a business in my own country then. That's an incentive. Even if the ones that don't want to stay, they're like, oh, 3k they're paying me to just cross over. I get deported. I go live in my country where that's an annual wage. It makes perfect sense to me, so I'm just going to do that. So some more incentives, as stated. The Labour government doing absolutely everything other than dealing with the actual problem. And bearing in mind, Rachel Reeves is set to put up tax over the next couple of weeks and said that we need to do that because, well, we haven't got any money. We need to raise money. Well, they can give £3,000 for these individuals to start their own businesses and given a £100 per week incentive to all of these. So just today, or just yesterday, should I say, 400 crossed over. Yeah, it makes no sense, does it? Money is just pouring out at the taxpayers' expense, whilst we are brunting all of it with our tax increases. Absolutely mental. Let's have a little look at what Reform Chairman has literally just said over the last hour with regard to this.
Keir Starmer is preparing to pay illegal migrants £100 a week of your money to move in next door to you. All while Rachel Reeves tells you she needs to raise your taxes in order to pay for it. As thousands of illegal migrants continue to invade our country, that is Labour's latest big idea. Right now, over 32,000 migrants are being housed in more than 200 hotels across the country, costing you, the taxpayer, £5.5 million every single day. That's over £2 billion a year. Labour's answer? Not to stop the boats, not to secure our borders. No, Labour want to pay £100 a week of your money on top of their existing support so they can stay with friends or families in British communities. In other words, they're paying them to move in next door to you. You work hard, you pay your taxes, struggle with rent or a mortgage, and Labour's priority is to pay people who entered this country illegally and help them find free accommodation in your neighbourhood. They're calling it a trial scheme, but we all know what that means. Once it starts, it never ends. Instead of ending the crisis, deporting those with no right to stay, they're doubling down on failure. Labour is about to raise your taxes again, claiming there's a black hole in the finances, when they still manage to find billions more to hand out to illegal migrants. You deserve a government that secures our borders, enforces immigration law, and puts the British people first. Reform will stop the boats, detain and deport all illegal migrants in the UK, hand back the hotels to our communities, and make our immigration laws unimpeachable.
It just makes you angry at this point, but there's no surprises, really, is there? It just makes you angry just listening to that every single day, just hearing the sheer volume of numbers that are coming over into this country illegally, and then, of course, without dealing with the issue. The clear issue is deploy the Royal Navy and stop them from coming in. Push them back. Push them back. Push them back. Not ferry them in, a glorified taxi, of course, these sort of border force are, and then bringing them in. The sheer volume of numbers that are coming in, and now we're giving them more incentives, and in fact we're paying them to invade our country. It's absolutely treasonous, and I can't believe that we're going to see Rachel Reeves raise taxes literally in the next couple of weeks officially, and we're going to be paying basically for these individuals to stay in the country and start their own businesses. It's absolutely shambolic. I really can't get over this, and it's just certainly making me angry. And Keir Starmer's schemes just don't work. Yet another migrant in a one-in, one-out deal coming back to the UK. Shocking. It really is. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Peace.